Some car makers can make beautiful cars. Some car makers can make good cars. For a very long time, Jaguar couldn't do either. And then they started making this. It's the Jaguar F Type. It's not just any F Type though, it's the F Type SVR. Crammed underneath this gigantic but very pretty clamshell bonnet is this. It's the heart of the car. It's a 5-litre V8. Now, if you look closely, you'll see some Ford badges because this is an engine that's part of the agreement that Tata made with Ford when they bought Jaguar and Land Rover. Strapped to the front of it is a supercharger. Supercharging isn't really a thing that companies do anymore, but I'm really glad Jaguar does because this produces an incredible 576 horsepower, and every one of them sounds like they're straight from hell. As usual, the internet has got itself all in a lather about the SVR because it's all-wheel drive, but this isn't your standard all-wheel drive. Unlike, say, a Huracan or even an Audi TTS, this is really a rear-wheel drive car. It's not until it gets a bit slippy that any of the power goes to the front. And it's very easy to make things slippy in this car. You turn off the traction control, this thing will be sideways. These are the rear wheels. Now, obviously we've already talked about these wonderful carbon ceramic brakes, and you do need these because this is not the lightest car in the world. 20-inch wheels, and of course, a beautiful, gloriously sticky set of Pirelli P0s. I'm not a huge fan of convertibles per se, but I really like the F Type. I like them in both versions, but for some reason I really like the F Type convertible. It's got something about that old-fashioned Grand Tourer about it, and I really like that. It's probably because I'm old. And it's not some nostalgic kind of memory of the E-Type either. I was never really an E-Type kind of guy, and there's a reason this is called the F-Type because it has moved on from that kind of over nostalgic view of that car. I mean, you know, the E-Type was a lovely car, but even for its time, it wasn't a really accomplished, lovely car. Yeah, it's not particularly practical, but what convertible is? I mean, they're not made to be practical. They're made to be showy in a lot of ways. But something struck me recently when I was speaking to the designer of Jaguars, the overall head of design, Ian Callum. This wasn't strictly his work, but he was certainly a big part of it. But he said Jaguars should never be aggressive, they should be assertive, and the F-Type is assertive. It's certainly got a little bit of aggro in SVR form, that's certainly true, but he said they should be assertive, and I really like that because, as he rightly pointed out, I don't like aggressive people very much. But I'll tell you what is aggressive. This. This is such a great car. It's got the big sticky tyres, the huge 20-inch wheels, but my word, it's just glorious. And what's amazing about it is it's quite a heavy car, but the change of direction is quite something. It really does move the front nose, the nose around really, really well. And what's extraordinary about this car is the change of direction. It's not light, it's 1,800 kilos. That's a lot of car. But when you turn the wheel, the front goes. This car is lighter than the normal V8. They've spent some money on getting rid of some of the weight, but you know, it's still heavy. It's just the way it is. But it really does drive like a much lighter car, but it sounds so good. It encourages you on, which I quite like about it. You know, some cars are like, hey, steady on, be careful, but what I really like about this particular car is it's got this amazing set of carbon brakes. I mean, they are quite something, really quite something. The way they bring they wash the speed off with just a gentle application on the brake. It's really good. And I love the way it drives. It just drives so beautifully. And like this tight hairpin is just another opportunity to make that noise. Oh boy, oh boy. And roof up or down, you'll have a ball in this, but having all that extra wind in your hair, and it just really makes this car, makes it feel really, really alive. You know, that's what I meant about the soul. This car is a living, breathing thing, you know. It moves around, it talks to you through the seat of your pants and through the wheel. And it sounds like it's enjoying itself. That's what I love about it. All that bang and crackle and pop on the lift off. What an extraordinary thing. The F Type SVR is a genuinely special car, and it's not just because it's got special in the name. It just feels right, even though it's too heavy, even though it's not the fastest. It's fun. It's not technical. It doesn't feel like it's making any of the decisions, even though it is making a lot of them. A good Jaguar is a wonderful thing, but a brilliant Jaguar, that's what makes it special.